Ground ball. McLean, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Elly De La Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin drills it. Do you believe this? That's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run. And the Reds put it 5-4.
Goes the second one. Around to first. Got him. Double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone. Into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Karcher does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit to deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. It's a winning. It's a winning. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause in the pitch, and a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone, and this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose, and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over, and this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2. In on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Royce Ring pitching, no bunt. Ground ball by the third baseman into left field. Jay Bruce rounds third, and this one belongs to the Reds.
That's it pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now.
One on, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate, and this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. And Gil going back at the warning track. Oh, he gets one. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
What is up, everybody? Welcome on into another Chatterbox Reds pregame show. I'm Sam Keithley, joined here with Alex Wallace, and we're going to cover a little bit of this Reds and Braves game 1 of a 4-game set. But before we get into that, Alex, what do you say we recap a little bit about this weekend series between the Reds and the Nationals?
Yeah, let's do it.
So not much to cheer about on these Saturday and Sunday games for the Reds. After Greene pitched on Friday, which he looked phenomenal again, Reds lose 2 straight to the Nats, losing another series, a series you really want to win. That was kind of the easy stretch of the season there against the Rockies, Nationals, at least for this first couple months. But yeah, just tough days on Saturday and Sunday. Lodolo, 6 earned runs, his worst start of the season by far. Nats ended up scoring 11. And then on Sunday, kind of the opposite. The offense gives you nothing. What are your overall thoughts on the weekend here?
Yeah, Friday I was out, went and saw a new popular movie, no free ads on the movie, but it's a Marvel one. Great movie if you haven't seen it yet. So I wasn't able to enjoy Hunter Greene and his masterful performance. On the other hand, Nick Lodolo, I put this out on X.com. He's reminding me of a system QB. The guy who has to have a great offensive line, who has to have the wide receivers in place. the guy that has to have his offensive coordinator or nothing goes his way. I hate to be coming down on him because I try to be the most optimistic, person when it comes to the Reds. It's just in my nature. But it just seems like it's an up and down roller coaster with Lodolo every time he's out there. So I just don't, I'm not necessarily counting on him, unfortunately. Yesterday, once Elly's home run foul ball didn't, miss the foul pole or fair pole by just inches, it was pretty safe that game was over. I know Trace mentioned it quite a bit late last night. It just, if the Reds don't score in the first few innings, they don't. I don't know what that's all about, but hopefully they can right the ship.
Yeah, I felt the same way about that Elly home run. As soon as they called it foul, it just seemed like that was just a dagger, and all the momentum had shifted. It didn't seem like there would be much going for the Reds offensively, and that's exactly what we got. I knew kind of after Saturday that was a huge game, knowing that Mackenzie Gore would be pitching on Sunday. That's kind of the recipe for disaster for the Reds, a left-handed high strikeout guy. I know going into yesterday's game, he was first in strikeouts in the major leagues. So again, just a recipe for disaster. Going to have that left-handed pitcher line up loaded up on righties. Santiago Espinal, he's been great against lefties this year, but not a whole lot else. Tyler Stevenson, he got a home run, but that was the only source of offense yesterday. It's just a whole bunch of up and downs for the Reds. You're coming off 5 straight wins, and then you end up splitting the series to the Cardinals that you'd like to win. It's 4-game set, so not going to have too high expectations. But then after that, losing the series to the Nationals, it's a killer, and you just like to see more consistency from this team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, and we're just not seeing it from them right now, and that's just it's killing us night in and night out.
We do have a new series against the Braves coming in, a 4-game set. What do you say we go over the series pitching matchups tonight? Obviously, we have Brady Singer versus Smith Shawver of the Braves. Tomorrow, we're going to see Chris Sale, Cy Young winner, going up against Andrew Abbott, 2 southpaws on the mound. After that, Hunter Greene, the Reds ace, going up against Grant Holmes. And then lastly, to wrap up the series, is going to be Nick Lodolo against Spencer Schwellenbach. So not a whole lot of huge names other than Sale for the Braves. The Reds have a couple of their best guys going out of the mound. And I think this is a series that you'd love to get 2 from, I'd say. We can set it at 2.
Yeah, I think in most cases we like to have those 2 games or the 4-game split. And as our old buddy Chris Welsh has said in the past, or at least that's where I heard it from, if you win game 1, you can't get swept. So the first game's always important, get up on the right foot. The Braves are sneaky though. You just listed out their starters, not ones that we're too familiar with maybe. Their ERAs aren't fantastic, and I know they've had a lot of injuries, but anytime Chris Sale's out there, it makes me nervous. So we'll see. But also, we've seen the guy from Saturday, Trevor Williams. He dominated the Reds. So yeah, sometimes I just can't get too worked up about who's pitching. But obviously, when there's a big time ace, and we hope ours, Hunter Greene, can come through for us.
100%. Tonight's pitching matchup, like I said, we've got Brady Singer versus AJ Smith Shawver. And I think a lot of Reds fans recognize that name from the Elly De La Cruz cycle in 2023. He was the starting pitcher on the mound that day. So I think a lot of Reds fans might recognize him. He's a young arm. He's a fastball splitter guy. He hasn't been great this year. I think he's allowed at least 2 earned runs in every start he's had. So I'd like for the Reds to get on him early, kind of set the tone here. Like you said earlier, if the Reds don't score early, it seems like they're not going to score at all. So I'd love for this lineup to kind of get on Smith Shawver there in the first or second inning.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a guy who has got good stuff, but he seems to be wild, doesn't necessarily know where the ball's going when he throws it. So we need deep counts that we've been seeing. I mean, yesterday, once Gore had that wild rain inning, every hitter worked a full count. We'll continue to do that. And also, outside of just the pitching matchup, the Reds been playing very well on the road. And it makes you wonder if Great American Ballpark fits this team very well. We're not going to get in that tonight, but they've been playing very well on the road this year. So hopefully they can continue.
Yeah, they have been. They did come off Coors Field, which you always kind of have to have an asterisk with that. But you can't disagree. They've been solid on the road. But something kind of with Smith Shawver, I think this is kind of the prototype pitcher that I think Matt McClain is a good pitcher for him to face to kind of bounce back and get going again. A lot of fastballs. He does throw a good amount of splitters too, but I think just a guy who he has some control issues, but just seeing a lot of fastballs from McClain. I would love to see him get hard hit tonight, get on base a couple times, and just get his confidence up because he's looked really. His confidence seems like it's shot at the plate as of now.
Yeah, for sure. And I've said it last week and maybe the last couple of weeks. I know his little slump has been going on for a while. You can't give up on McClain. He's really the second cornerstone to this team behind Elly. If he's not going, we're probably not going anywhere. No matter if Espinal turns into, has a second All-Star season this year or Sal Stewart comes up and wins Rookie of the Year. I still don't think that would help us. I mean, and obviously a great outcome, but we really do need Matt McClain to be our second best player. And like you said, this pitcher, he's a great combination of stuff and just overall pitch mix to get McClain right McClain's ship.
Yeah, we'll hope. The other side of we're gonna have Brady Singer on the mound tonight. He's looked solid all year. His last time out, he looked a little bit rough, but his line ended up looking fine. 6 innings pitched, only 1 earned run, 2 hits. What kind of killed him were the walks. He had 3 walks, which is a little bit uncharacteristic for a guy like Singer. He likes to get ahead of counts early, attack the zone. He's got 5 pitches that he can play that play in the zone, so he likes to pound it. But a little bit uncharacteristic from him, but it just kind of shows you how much of a grinder he is and how much of a positive he is in this Reds rotation.
Yeah, Singer. When you see Singer's name on the lineup, you're like, oh, we can win this game.
Yeah,
this is a winnable game. You're going to stay in the game. He's going to keep the team, keep those the runs low. He's going to keep his offense in the game. That's really what it comes down to. He's an innings eater. He's just a pro's pro. And offhand, I believe he was drafted the same year as India. That would be 2019. So still a young guy, still under arbitration, but really has become like a crafty, just reliable pitcher. He's not going to be Hunter Greene, probably will never be Hunter Greene or just that high end stuff and, high end outcomes. But a very valuable guy to have around your rotation.
Yeah. And I know we don't really go too deep into the pitcher's records, but 4-1 this year for Brady Singer. That means, you get 4 wins with him on the mound, which you love to see. A lot of times that doesn't tell the whole story, but we love to use that stat when it works in their favor.
Absolutely. Well, but I think what it does say is you're keeping the team in the game.
Yeah.
It can be a little different when you're looking at a guy like Hunter Greene in the last couple of years. Maybe his win total wasn't there. Well, he wasn't getting the run support. So either you're getting a loss or a no decision, or the bullpen blows it. Honestly, I think the whole win stat you just mentioned, it's not the best. And also when these guys pitch 4 innings, they don't get a win, but a reliever who pitches 1 inning, he does. It doesn't really make sense. I think they need to look at that, but we can move past it.
Yeah. The main thing for him is he just goes out there, gives you 6 innings every time. And I think that's huge for a starting pitcher in the rotation. Tonight's lineup, more or less the same. what do you kind of see? Who sticks out to you in tonight's lineup?
Yeah, a couple guys who are slumping. We mentioned it, McLean, Lux. Big fan of Lux. Last week we declared an all-star nomination.
Yeah.
All-star game will be in Atlanta, so maybe Lux is in Atlanta in July again. Hopefully our chat and the whole Chatterbox family can get Lux into the all-star game. Tyler Stevenson, Atlanta native. So I'm sure he has quite a few friends and family in the stands tonight to root him on. And also, I believe, has a young daughter, I believe. So I'm sure if she doesn't travel with him, it's nice to see her in that area with him being close by. Another guy, Tyler Callahan, they called him up. I'm not expecting him to be the everyday left fielder. But it's nice to see him hopefully get a few games in a row here, maybe tonight and tomorrow. Or tonight, not tomorrow, but the next couple games, because of Sale being a lefty, he won't be in there tomorrow. But I'd like to see Callahan get a couple hits tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And with Callahan in the lineup there, I think you have to mention that there's still no Hayes in the lineup. Obviously, he's been hurt, having that little is it hamstring or calf? Because I know he had a calf to start the season.
Calf to start the season, and then it's a hamstring this go around.
Hamstring now, but a little bit of good news from Francona today. He says that we may expect to see Austin Hayes back on Friday. He says he's doing very well, which is a little bit funny because I guess he's doing as well as you can for being on the IL. But yeah, we can expect him possibly to return Friday. And again, he's that guy that you're going to see there every day in the left field spot. He's just a guy who gives the Reds a different dimension, batting righty. He can dominate lefties. He's crushed righties too this year. And it seems like whenever we see Hayes in the lineup, it's resulted in wins. And he kind of gives the offense that spark plug.
Yeah, and I don't have him offhand, or I would say him, but I know our partner in crime from Friday nights, Mike Hart, put out some stats, and they're alarming. With Hayes, without Hayes, this offense is runs when Austin Hayes is in the lineup, which is just absolutely crazy. The difference was almost unbelievable. It's interesting, and I'd like to do some more. I got to find time to do some research on this, and I'm not even sure how I would find it. I'd have to, find some clippings and some articles online from years past. But it is just odd to me of how many of these guys we've had, and Austin Hayes twice, Tyler Stevenson, Matt McLean, who have gone on the injured list, but the whole time, hey, they're fine. They're fine. We're just making sure. Hey, they're fine. They're fine. Was the IL stint there because you have trust in Trevino and wins? Hey, we're bringing Stevenson up, who hit a home run this weekend. Hey, we can pull him up to kind of bridge the gap. No big deal. And then it buys us time to have this three catcher. And I'm not saying it's not all about the three catchers, but Francona trusts his team and trusts the guys where, sure, the numbers are the numbers when Hayes is in the lineup. But is he trusting his guys and saying, hey, we're not going to, we'll put Hayes on the shelf just for a little bit, for 10 days, just to make sure we're good and we're not messing with anything to make it worse down the road. McLean was very similar with his leg injury. I think there's something to that. I think Francona is really one who is very protective for his guys, and making sure that they can play all year and really protecting them early on in the year.
Yeah, it seems like he's playing the long game here instead of, pushing the limits to these guys, making sure they're more built for August and September and hopefully October, which is what we all want to see, but we haven't in the past decade or so.
And what's interesting on that too, Sam, is you could say, well, what's it matter or what have you? Well, there's only a few guys on the Reds and in the Reds front office, coaching staff, team who've played baseball in October the last few years.
Yeah.
I don't have the count offhand, but you could probably count them on one hand. And Francona certainly is one of them, and he knows what it takes to get there. I'm not saying the Reds are going to make the playoffs by any means, but he knows how to prep the team and get them ready for the end of the year.
Yeah, that's for sure. Another name that I kind of want to mention in this lineup is Santiago Espinal. I think he just deserves all the credit he can get right now. He's kind of seen as this lefty pitcher platoon guy, kind of as a righty. He's dominated lefties throughout his career, but it seems like he's hit righties the same or if not better this year. He's hitting over 300 in both splits. He's hitting the ball hard. He just plays the game. He's really fun to watch, and he just plays the game the right way. And I think he's a great guy to stick in there at third. You can stick him at second. He can play short and even left field, which we might not all agree with it, but I think just getting his bat in the lineup right now is a huge plus for this Reds offense.
Yeah, I'd rather not see him in right field, really. But I think left, second, third. Yeah, left, second, and third, I think you're fine. Shortstop. Let's give Elly a day. And I know Elly's probably putting a fight up. I heard him say he wants to play all 162 during spring training. But I think the guys last night mentioned it, or they have over the weekend. We can mix and match Espinal and keep the hot hand in there with Marte, with McLean, with the left field spot. Use that DH as well. It's something to look into. Give Steer a day off. They say Espinal can play first now. There's different options. I'm sure Stevenson could play first in a pinch, use that DH spot or the catcher spot. So, yeah, I'd like to see them continue that. Part of that too is I don't want them too much to interrupt McLean and Marte. Now, Marte has really cooled off since his hot streak.
Yeah.
Which I think that's good to have a day off today. Give these guys, you have the depth to do that. Give the guys a day off, give them 2 days off, and just have a reset and work with the coaches and make sure that they are staying in line with what they need to do to be successful.
Yeah, I agree 100% with Marte there. I think this is a great time to give him a day off with how good Espinal's hitting it. He's really cooled down since his hot streak. His numbers may have been a little bit inflated with that 24-run outburst, couple hits against a position player there, but even throughout that 2-week stretch, it seems like he was hitting every ball hard. I forget which game it was. I believe it might have been the first game of that national series, but it seemed like he just missed 2 balls that looked like they were going to go over the fence, and
that might have been the Saturday game. But I could be wrong. I don't have great memory from Saturday. I was in and out doing other things too, but I think it might have been the Saturday game.
Yeah, but it just seems like with those not kind of falling or count. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say another thing that's coming that I've noticed is the cool weather in Cincinnati is not helping these guys.
Yeah, and the rain.
We really needed to get hot and get these balls flying. There's so many balls lately that have just been dying at the warning track. Now, granted, that's going to happen to the other team as well. I have more trust in the Reds pitching staff, but some of these balls that are just dying in this, rain and, I don't know all the details behind the science and everything, Sam, but if it warms up here, which it's been warming up a little later in the year, May is not necessarily as warm as it used to be. At least it seems the last few years, but if we can get it warmed up, some of these balls will start flying.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully we see it this week in Atlanta. We've covered the Reds lineup a little bit, but what do you say we bring up the Atlanta Braves 1 through 9 here? Something that kind of made me laugh was seeing Alex Verdugo batting their leadoff. I know his name was thrown around this offseason for the Reds, but it seemed like he was getting no looks in the offseason. And I know the Braves kind of swooped him there just maybe during spring training, but that just kind of caught my eye with him there batting leadoff.
Yeah, there was a guy who, played for the Yankees last year, was bouncing around a little bit. Team Mexico for the WEC, the Red Sox, and the Dodgers. I was kind of interested in seeing if maybe the Reds would, jump on him, but really no one did. Like you mentioned, until spring training. Obviously, the 2, 3, and 4 there just scares me. Austin Riley, Ozuna, and then Matt Olson, certified Reds killer. And then another shout out, Sean Murphy from the Dayton area. pretty sure you went to Centerville High School, big high school in the Dayton area. So kind of a fun connection there. But the Braves are going through a little bit of a transition. And shameless plug, Sam won't be with us tomorrow night, but we do have a guest on, a Braves fan. So David, our Braves fan, will be able to help us walk through kind of what's going on with the Braves. They've had some injuries, but also going through some transition. So we'll dive into that tomorrow.
Yeah,
Sam,
I know David's going to have a lot more. He's going to have a lot more on the Braves than we do. But obviously that 2 through 4, even throwing Murphy and Albies in there, Harris too. They're kind of they've been players that have, had good stats. They've hit the ball well the past couple years. I know with Olsen, Ozuna, and Albies, they've kind of been around there for 5+ years now. So definitely
seems like almost forever.
Yeah. Guy like Albies, who they locked up there in his first couple of years, that's kind of the precedent that has been set that a lot of Reds fans want to see do with McClain and Elly. But who knows? Might be a little too late now, but
might be a little too late. Might be, we'll see with the Braves. I've seen actually you mentioned that, Sam, and we don't have a ton of time for it, but some people are saying that some of that might be coming to bite them a little bit.
Possibly.
Because they locked too many of them up, and the team turnover and just moving some of these guys, it's kind of getting stale down there. So obviously I think Riley, Olsen, Murphy, Albies, Acuna, Harris all have long-term deals. They've really only done with position players, but this year just started out so poorly for them. I think it was like 0-7 or something. So they've came back a little bit, and they're just a couple games shy of 500. But, the Braves, all the way back from, that this run starts from 2020. Believe they won the 2021 World Series. So this whole era of their team, they're a scary team.
They are. You mentioned how they got off to a little bit of a rough start. I do think they played the Dodgers twice and possibly the Padres, I believe. So a little bit of a rougher schedule, but still not the start they were looking for. And I think one of the main reasons for that is they've been missing their star for the past couple. I know he got hurt last year, and then they haven't seen him yet this year, Ronald Acuna Jr. I think I believe he's going to be back possibly in a month or so, maybe a couple weeks. I believe they're looking to get him a rehab assignment here coming up, but that's the name that's kind of missing from this lineup. He's been, an MVP candidate in, 3 of the last 5 years, it seems like, whenever he's healthy. So the Reds are going to miss him, but he's definitely a player to look out for in series to come later on in the season.
Yep. The Reds play the Braves again in August. I believe August 2nd is that game down at Bristol Motor Speedway. I know the Braves are giving away like a car this week, maybe tonight, but I know this week they're giving away a little like die-cast car. Wish the Reds were doing that so we could get matching ones, but the Reds are giving away a car bobblehead with Mr. Red writing in it on the 17th. I will be in attendance to capture that bobblehead, and I'll put it on the shelf right behind me. So
I'd forgot about in that game at the track. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I know.
Yeah, that's a bucket. I mean, that would be just so fantastic to go to. It's a little too far for me to drive, drive to it, but if I could drive to it and get back, I think it's like 5-6 hours. That's a little steep. But really the ticket prices are a little higher than I'd be willing to pay, especially with they're going to have like 100,000 plus seats.
Yeah.
The ticket prices are like $80 right now. I'm like, I'm going to be so far away. I know Jacob Tissett on Off the Bench mentioned that he went to was it Ohio State versus Northwestern at Wrigley Field? He said it was awful because you're so far away from the stands. I'm sure it's a novelty. You'll be able to say you went, but I'm sure the game watching is not going to be pristine at Bristol.
Yeah, it seems more of a TV broadcast type of game. I don't know how good it's going to be in person at that racetrack, but who knows? Could be a fun game to go to.
Absolutely.
All right, Alex, what do you say we wrap up tonight's show? I know you like to give your little history fact each Tuesday, or we got a Monday tonight.
It's a Monday edition today. But
we'll
yeah,
get a
I
Monday
have
history
something.
fact.
I do have something, and it reminded me yesterday, for those who celebrate, was the Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Today, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. I remember a player who I was fond of as a young child. Reminds me of a little bit Santiago Espinal. His name was Juan Castro. Maybe didn't hit as well as Espinal, but played all over the diamond, shortstop, third base, second base. Maybe a first here in the pinch, but not really the outfield. But anyway, on May 5th, 2004, Juan Castro hit a walk-off home run on Cinco de Mayo. And why that's so, important. Juan Castro was born in Mexico. And also, fun fact about Juan Castro, he also announced an Arizona Cardinals draft pick this past couple weeks ago. So, little connection there to Cinco de Mayo, and hopefully a Reds win in 2025, Cinco de Mayo.
Well, there you go. Hopefully we get that same juju, a walk-off win tonight. I know we can't get a walk-off, though, because we are away, but a go-ahead home run.
A go-ahead home run, or just, how about like 12 runs in the first 3 innings?
Yeah, how about it just a W in the calendar?
We won't be picky, just a W.
Yeah, we'll take anything we can get.
Absolutely.
All right, that's going to do it for tonight's show. If you guys would, make sure to like the stream. Helps us out all the time. Every stream, just make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Tonight, there will be a post-game show. I haven't checked the schedule, but Nick and Trace.
Yep, tonight? Nick and Trace tonight. Yep.
All right. So everyone make sure you tune into that in the 9th inning to see kind of their thoughts on the game. Hopefully it's a W, like we said, but yeah, make sure to like the stream, check out the post-game show. Alex will be on tomorrow with your friend David.
Yep.
Is that correct? Braves fan David. Make sure to tune into that. But yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Hopefully the Reds get a win tonight, but we shall see. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and go Reds.
Go Reds.